right, teachers, today I'm going to walk you through Lucid visual activities to hopefully give you some ideas of ways that you can use this in your classroom, be able to engage students in your content, and maybe have some different ways of collecting some data that you can use to inform your instruction. We'll start right from the very beginning, logging into Lucid. I'll show you some examples of the visual activities, and then I'll show you how to put them in Canvas so that your students can use them. Okay, to log in, you're going to go to lucid.app. Go ahead and just use your Google account with your ASD email. So LucidSpark creates this infinite canvas that you can put all kinds of different things on. And so as you can see, I've just had my intro screen. If I zoom out, you see the different activities we're going to be looking at and working with today. But this goes on forever in whatever direction. Like I said, there's no restrictions if you've used an infinite canvas before on program. What exactly are visual activities? Before I show you the ones that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to show you some that I participated in recently so you can see, I guess, what visual activities are kind of about. A lot of this is some quick and easy ways for you to get feedback from students, to measure their understanding or knowledge, to see how they're doing, all kinds of stuff like that. So for example, here's one that was created. Over here, we had everybody's name that was participating. So each person would come find their name, and then they would drag it where they felt like they landed on that matrix. Right now it's not active, so it doesn't quite work that way, but you can see how it worked. So as a teacher, you could see where everybody felt they were. You can also over here click on the specific person's name, and you can see where they placed themselves on each of these matrix. That was one we participated in. Another one was the idea, which of these is a sandwich, and you can see the data here. We have the overview, but we can also break it down by the objects that were selected here. So we can see that 29 of the participants said pizza is not a sandwich. If we come down here to hot dog, you can see 10 said yes, 19 said no. So you get a little bit of data collection. There was another one, so you can see an average, and so you can see the average rankings here. So Hershey's is at the bottom, the average, and then the top is Ghirardelli. You have their relative rankings for things, so the most favorites, the least favorite down here. So again, it's a way that you can kind of easily adjust and look at the different data however you want. These are kind of the activities that we're looking at. Let's go back to the ones I created to show you that might have a little more connection to your content. I kind of broke these down into a few different categories. So you have this idea of let's get to know you. And so I'm just going to come in and preview this one. And so this is fairly simple. We have these objects and it says, what sports do you like? And now they can drag and drop the object, randomly choosing right now, so don't get offended. And so each student would have their own screen, and they can come and drag their objects on each of these categories, and then you'd be able to collect some data on that. Another one I've done here is this. This one I just took straight from Lucid's options that they have, this bucket list activity. Again, same idea. They just drag and drop, place it on the line here of where they would want to do. So it's a way just to kind of get some information about getting to know students. Here's that sandwich one that I talked about earlier. Here's one you can drag and drop, states you've been to, you want to visit some days. These are all directly from Lucid created, where like this one I edited a little bit more. Okay, we had this idea of bell ringers. And so in this one, the idea is like, so here's an example. You know what a thesis is and can write one that's effective. Well, the students are supposed to come and drag their dragger on whether they think they can do it or like, nope, there's no way. Another one here, like this math problem. Is this a correct answer? They can come and drag whether they feel like it's correct or not. Some ideas. And then this one's like more of a measuring, how are we doing today in class? How do you feel? So again, the preview, you'd have an icon and they would drag their icon and place it where they feel they're feeling. The last one I kind of put in here is this idea of exit tickets and checking for understanding. I haven't really played with this one yet specifically, but I thought it would be good. So you could have objects and different things here in this section that they would drag and drop. And so if you were trying to do different things and say, I think we should start doing this, I think we should stop doing this, and I think we should continue doing these things. And so maybe more of a, how's our class going? How are the different things we're doing in class working for everybody? Kind of that feedback, like a stakeholder feedback or something. Anyways, so this one here, I like this idea. So as an exit ticket, how are we feeling about today's objectives? Well, here's 3 objectives I just kind of took from science, I think. Yeah. And so it was like, here's the 3 things we were learning today, and students could each say, I really need some help with this one and this one. But I've got this one down. Or maybe they don't. Again, it's a way to get some quick and easy feedback from students. And like I showed in those example ones earlier, when the students do this, you'll have ways to segregate the data so you can get some good information from it. Here's another one I threw together. We're going into the final. How are you feeling about these concepts? And so for each of these, they can drag this dot. And it can give you some information about what you maybe should reteach or remediate or have a review for before you do the final, stuff like that. But it makes a nice visual data gathering device for you and for students. It's a little something different. It's not the typical Google form or other things that they've been doing. It does break things up a little bit and hopefully create a little more engagement because it's a little different and it's a little more interesting and visual and all that kind of stuff like that. Okay, so that's kind of a quick overview about what visual activities are and some ideas that you can do with them. Now let's get into how you're actually going to create one. As you log in, you're going to click on New, LucidSpark. We're going to a blank board. Your toolbar is over here on the left if you haven't used Lucid before. The one thing you do have to do is click and drag. You can't just click on it like in Canva and it pops up. Down here is the other key thing. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, that's so super small. But you can always see here's the relative percentage of the screen. It's like 100% would be like full size normal. It's hardly ever at 100%, but you can play with this and adjust it however you like. So, and it's really up to you. And students can adjust that themselves too. So it's not set by you, that size. Anyways, the next thing you're gonna do is you need to have this menu open here, and this little rocket ship is your visual activities. So you'll click on that, and now you'll just have these visual activities menu. So you can take any of these, or you can just click on the all activities, and it'll scroll through them all. And so as you see, you can see some of the ones that I used. And now you can change these images, and you can adjust colors, and like I said, images and words. You can do all that. So we'll add this one to the board. And like I say, you can drag this, resize it however you want, and then you can make these changes. And so you can type in any of the words, change the colors, change these letters, and now you'll see here's the different images. And this little hand means it's draggable. And so you can click on it and you'll see that. But if you want to add your own picture, Lucid has their own gallery. So I clicked the arrow down, and right here, and I click on images, and we'll just choose bear since that was there. And look, there's a bear. I like that bear better. Again, I have to click and drag. And I want to resize it to make it closer. And then there's the hand that's gray, and I just need to click it. And now it's going to be draggable for students. So if this hand is grayed out, students won't be able to drag it. It'll be stuck. And the same thing goes right here. You can see this object. If I add text, so you make this text box, and even that has a thing. So if I just wanted words and not pictures, I could create text box, and that could be a draggable feature for students to interact with the blank board. You can also import your own images by clicking on that hamburger menu, click insert, and then click image. Okay, now that you know how to create one in Lucid, let's talk about how you're going to get this to students in Canvas. Really, the easiest way to do that is to click on your board here. So don't do this one, but you're gonna come here and we're gonna save changes. And now you can see there's a share button on your actual activity. You wanna grab that share button. You wanna say that this is anyone with the link because students have a different domain than teachers still. You want this to be edit. so that they can actually interact with it, and then you're going to copy the link. So now let's just test this link out real quick. So we're in incognito, means it should load, and now, yes. The only things that are draggable are these animals. It works. We're going to submit. Students can view responses. And so now as a teacher, you come back here, you can come here and view results. Okay, the other thing you can do if you don't want people knowing who's answering what, and you want it to be really anonymous without names, you can turn that on and it would turn it into an anonymous activity. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Canvas. Save changes. I'm going to click share. Anyone with the link, anyone can edit. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to come to Canvas. This is how I would do it. I think it's the easiest way. Is I'm going to come to modules and I'm going to make this a URL. I'm going to paste that link in right there. I'll just say that, Lucid Activity Bell Ringer 1. And then students would click on it and it would take them directly to that activity to participate in. The other way you can do that is to make it an assignment. If you create the assignment and you come to your edit screen, right here is the little Lucid link. You'll click on that. You'll need to connect Lucid to your Canvas course. And so there'll be a couple of pop-ups where you have to agree to it. Once you've done that, it'll allow you to choose a board link to Canvas. So the reason why I wouldn't do this right now is I put all my visual activities on one board and I don't want them all to be done at that one time. If you were going to do it this way, you would create a new board for each visual activity, not put a bunch of visual activities on one board, if that makes sense. But once you've done that, you can click that, click continue. You can change how it gets interacted. Again, if you want to interact, it does need to be edit. And you hit insert, and now it's within Canvas. You can see it loading. But again, you can see everything's in there, not just the one activity that you're trying to do that day. So anyways, this is Lucid and visual activities, and hopefully this gives you some ideas about ways that you can maybe engage students and collect some data to help your instruction and to improve your classroom. So good luck, and if you have questions, just let me know.